He went from being a homeless drug addict in Skid Row to becoming a multi-millionaire and living his best life in the 50s. This is Khalil Rafati, a guy who didn't give up after sleeping in the streets of the most dangerous place in the world and went on to change the organic products industry. His journey started in Toledo, Ohio, where in his youth, late 60s, was introduced to topics of the real world. Violence, abuse, and negligence guided his early years. He started turning to the dark side at only 11 years old. Chugging beers and plunging into vandalism or shoplifting were daily activities on Khalil's list. Adding to this were his immigrant parents, who didn't know English and couldn't do much. The shimmering city of Los Angeles promised fame, money, and dreams coming true. That's exactly where he went after his high school. Fueled by a mix of naivety and ambition, he arrived with dreams of becoming rich and famous. He saw himself as a part of a rock band, where the downfall of his life started. Drugs, because of his environment in the band, were almost mandatory to use. You may be asking what exactly he was using, but to give you a closer look, a better question would be to ask what he didn't use. From heroin, ketamine, and GHB to ecstasy, he started using more and more, and it began to affect his health and how he acted. You could see the change in him. He looked thinner and acted differently. The rock bottom moment was inevitable. At only 27, the city's roughest district became his home, a space where his bed was worn-out cardboard and his blanket, the smoky LA sky. The cycle was brutal. An overdose followed by a trip to the hospital, then to the jail and back to overdosing. His once youthful face now bore the weight of his choices. Teeth began to fall out, and his frail frame weighed just 109 libs. It was at this moment that Khalil decided to change. It was not easy, but with small steps, he was able to start showing up to recovery meetings, first once a week, then twice, and then his hatred towards his past life pushed him to be at those meetings twice a day, every day. And here was the moment where his first opportunity showed up. He was able to get odd jobs like cleaning people's apartments, washing cars, and generally everything that got him some money. It wasn't much, but it was a chance to start with a clean sheet. While also visiting the recovery meetings, he got into talks with the sponsor, who was making these meetings possible. The sponsor saw in Khalil burning desire to leave the life he lived and redeem himself. That's why he gave him the opportunity to prepare snacks for these meetings. You might think it was nothing special, but for someone no one ever believed in, it was something unbelievable. His job was simple: clean up commitments and always prepare snacks, coffee, and something nice for the meetings. However, there was one day that was different from others. Like every day, he needed to prepare the snacks for the meeting. So he went into the shop and bought some strawberries, blueberries, and other snacks for $60. He wanted to prove to himself that he changed and went all in. The meeting came, and the Salvation Army was in a poor mood. But that changed when Khalil came with the food. The mood immediately changed, and everyone was thanking him for preparing it. This commitment to helping people changed his life for good. No more coming back to that drug-addicted life. After 5 years of this cookie and coffee commitment, he saved up some money together with some other jobs, invested it, and became a sponsor himself. However, the philosophy behind it wasn't to earn money, but to help other people. The rule Khalil follows is to be 1% better. It is cliche, but if you really follow it, you will see the results speak for itself. From going for walks, reading one page of the book, to just picking up trash without looking around if anyone noticed you, it's about creating the best version of the person you can be. This sponsoring helped him to come up with his first business idea, recovery program, to help other people overcome their addictions. So he took everything he had to put it in this idea. Riviera Recovery took off, but there was one problem. He hated it. It was a huge, successful project money-wise, but this came at the cost of crying himself to sleep every night. Right then was the moment he started to dream about a juice bar, where you could get everything organic and everyone would be happy. It was mainly because of his not-so-natural past. Because he followed his passion all this time, he certainly didn't want to stop here. So he took everything he had, borrowed a couple $100,000 from a guy who knew him, and went all in. He once again was on the brink of homelessness. Instead of just getting the money from the last business, he wanted to be more and help other people in any way he could. The first thing he did was sign a lease for a place where everything would start. However, not even this was without any hiccups, because almost 11 months after signing, he hadn't opened the store yet. He was nervous and scared. The landlord threatened to sue him because he didn't have money, not even for additional shelves and signs. He started to doubt his decision, thinking, did I make a big mistake? Will anyone even come? But the night before opening, a bunch of kids came up and asked if they could get anything. His partner at the time didn't want to allow it because they had bigger issues on hand than to service kids. However, as was in Khalil's nature, he invited them in and gave them each a big scoop of organic frozen yogurt. Ladies with the kids then wanted to pay for it, but he declined their offer. Just the thought of making the first happy customers before even opening was enough for him. After that, he didn't pay a lot of attention to them until their mothers came and told him that outside he had a surprise. He walked out and there saw kids start to pray and belting out the songs of of worship. Right at this moment, he knew that he was on the right track. In 2011, the first Sun Life organic store was opened. On the day of opening, he woke up at 5 a.m. and went to set up and get ready everything before the time ran out. And nothing could prepare him for the day that he had ahead of him. The whole opening day, he had a line full of people waiting to get the best juices and yogurts they ever had. And the rest is history. Right now, Khalil is looking after around 13 locations with his organic products and trying to scale to even more locations. In his life, he was at maybe the darkest and lowest point a human can ever get, even at 27, when most people think of themselves as failures if they haven't achieved something particular. Right now, he is in his 50s and living the best life you can imagine. His favorite saying is, "At this moment, you are the youngest you can be. Why don't you take advantage of it?" A lot of people have big dreams and big wishes about what they want to do in their lives. However, only some people keep going and don't give up when things get hard or when problems come up. This story is meant to show you that you can achieve anything if you really want it and are willing to work hard for it. It's all about putting in the effort and doing the work, even on the days when you really don't feel like it. And if you want to watch the video where we dive deep into the worst Apple product in its history, click here. See you there.